Hi there. Today I wanted to take a look at a Tokaji from a very special wine producer, somebody called Istvan Szepsy, who is renowned as Hungary's and the Tokaji region's probably most renowned winemaker. The reason I thought it would be good to do that is that this week in Florence the Golden Vines Awards were held, and Istvan managed to win in 2 of those categories, a very deserved win. He was named as the best fine winemaker in Europe, and also he received a Lifetime Achievement Award in that. So, you know, our congratulations to Istvan for that. It's a real achievement there and some well-earned recognition. The wine I'm looking at is a wine called Szamorodni. Particularly, it's an Edes, so it's a sweet version of a Szamorodni. Szamorodni, in the area where the wines that get the most attention are called Aszu and are produced from rotten berries that are re-fermented with the rotten concentrated berries, not horrible ones, but ones that have been shriveled by botrytis, are re-fermented with a base wine to make incredible sweet wines, and that's called an Aszu wine. So below that you get the Szamorodni category, which is the as it comes. So it's the wine without the re-fermentation with the paste made from botrytis berries. But a bit like in Germany where you have the Auslese category, you will find that particularly if that wine is produced late and is harvested late, you've got a fair amount of botrytis in there anyway, and it can achieve a reasonable sweetness. And Szepsy is somebody who treats this category quite seriously. This wine, if I'm correct, has about something like about 150 grams per litre of sugar in it, and under Tokaji's classification rules you could sell this as a 5-puttonyos Tokaji, Aszu, but in fact Szepsy chooses to make what he has decided is going to be one of the best Szamorodnis you can get hold of, and that is the nature of the man. I mean, he is he's hugely respected in the area. He's somebody who can trace his ancestry back to one of his ancestors is supposed to be the person. He was sometimes described as who invented the Tokaji process, but actually I think the person who actually wrote it down and who formalised it, and that was back in 1631. So this is the long history of this area and its very particular technique in making these sweet wines. So Szepsy's history is phenomenal as well. He started working in communist Hungary, where he ran the local cellars, and in fact the communists gave him prizes for producing for the volume of wine that he produced. Since then, since the fall of the Berlin Wall, etc., and the breakdown of communism, Szepsy has run his own cellars, but in coming to that, he first of all, he was the first winemaker for the Royal Tokaji Wine Company, one of the other leading Tokaji producers, and while he was working with them, he spent a lot of time travelling and, you know, visiting the best sweet wine producers in the world, and he's learned all this and brought it back and employed it in Tokaji to make some absolutely fabulous wines. So let's have a talk about this one. There's a fantastic pale gold colour there. It's lovely and bright. When I swirl it, yeah, it's not particularly viscous. This is not a heavyweight wine. It'll be a blend of principally ferment, so with good acidity. There may be some harsh levolue in there for a little bit of aroma. There may also be some yellow muscat, but the yellow muscat tends to go into a wine that's made in a category called late harvest, which is slightly different and more sort of fruit driven. The aromas here, let's have a look at those, or smell of those even. There's a fantastic, rich, slightly unctuous and oily note of, to me, that's ripe stone fruit, ripe apricot, ripe nectarine, with a little floral top note, you know, slightly high-toned and expressive. And let's have a taste of this. The wine is beautifully sweet. It's got notes of orange peel. There's really good acidity comes through as well. Orange peel, ripe apricot. Again, that sort of slightly oily texture, but it's medium weight. It's not heavy. It's not sugary. you know, because the freshness is so good. There's there's slight dried peel notes as well, but the flavours last really well. The lovely sort of combination of sweetness and freshness, and I think this is one of the points about being a sweet winemaker, that actually you have more elements to balance than dry winemakers do, because you've got the sweetness as well as the flavours, as well as the acidity and the alcohol, so that there are extra elements in the wine. And this is just sort of wonderfully pure, superbly intense, lasts really well, and this really is one of their lower level quality wines, and I think it really does show what an incredible winery Szepsy is. These wines aren't cheap, but they're well worth investing in. So yes, congratulations to Istvan Szepsy on his win, and if you get the chance, do try his wines. It's a very well earned accolade, because he's a fantastic winemaker. Thank you for listening. Bye now.